That'll be you.
All right. All
What's
right.
going on?
What's
What's
up,
going on,
everybody?
guys?
If you're coming from TikTok, we appreciate it. Yeah, he basically the deal with this is we didn't get to talk about the game sevens on the last episode of the podcast because we had Bengal on, right? So we made that a full NFL offseason episode, and we wanted to recap some game sevens for you
The
guys.
game seven thing. Well, the game sevens had also not happened yet. And that's just kind of a flaw in the way we record, doing it the day before. So like we'll record and then things will happen and then we'll release the episode. And when two game sevens happen, we're like, all right, we can't just not talk about it until
Right.
a week from now. So we're talking about it here now. And we'll talk about my Phoenix Suns. Talk about the Celtics.
Heard you went for a walk, Theo. You
I
had to go cope.
I went for a walk. I went for a walk at halftime. I did. And that's the thing. It's like my take is I would rather get blown out as a fan. I'd rather just know it's over. All right. I knew that game was going poorly within 5 minutes. And that's when I started getting nervous. Like, oh man, this is not looking good.
Yeah.
And then, second quarter happened. It's like they don't have it. They don't have it. And we're gonna lose. And I was like, okay, that we're gonna lose.
Yeah. Once you go a quarter with just no adjustments, it started to look real bleak.
I'd been thinking about that, and with Super Bowl 50, because that's my big loss as a Panthers fan. It was kind of both almost, where they were both not ever really in the game, but the score was close and they could get back into it. I think you'd definitely rather have it just be an honest blowout.
You'd rather just have it be an honest blowout. And as a Packer, no one has the ledger of heartbreaking losses that I have. I'm in any sport. I'm willing to put it on the line. I mean, what was it? 2000.
I don't know. I think I much enjoyed more. I enjoyed losing to the Chiefs more in the playoffs than going 0-16.
It's better than being a bottom feeder. I'm not saying it's not.
Okay.
I'm just saying like when you suck, a loss is not as heartbreaking as so it's like 2007 is the first football game I can really remember was Brett Favre throwing a pick six in overtime with the Super Bowl on the line. There was in 2009, there was a 48-45 game against the Cardinals where Rodgers fumbled and then he kicked the ball into the air as he was falling. And then that was a fumble six. 2010 was obviously the Super Bowl. 2011, they were a 1 seed that lost to the 6-seeded Giants due to large part of a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Then there was the Colin Kaepernick game where they couldn't stop Colin Kaepernick and he rushed for almost 200 yards. Can't remember what happened in 2013. 2014 was the horrible NFC Championship game. 2015 was what? Was that no?
I think that was that Seahawks?
No. Well, that happened in the year 2015, but it was the 2014 season. 2015, I don't remember how we lost that year. 2016 was, I believe, Falcons blowout. Then I think we missed the playoffs. I don't know. It's been a lot of heartbreaking losses, though. It's been a lot of heartbreaking losses. And the ones that don't bother me as a Packer fan are the Falcons ones where they just got boat raced in the NFC Championship game. I don't think about that. They were just better. The 49ers game where Raheem Mostert just ran all over us and the front seven got exposed. Doesn't bother me. We just weren't good enough. This year, when it's 13-10 and the defense doesn't allow a touchdown and it's a blizzard and the offense can't get anything going, but it's the special teams, the missed field goal and the blocked punt for a touchdown and the returns to the 40-yard line every time. That's what kills me. So the Suns, that was a lot of football, but a blowout loss for the Suns is not going to register in my head. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, we sucked. And why did we suck? That's 2015 was the Cardinals. I knew I was forgetting a big one. Yeah. 2015 was the Hail Mary to Janice and then Larry Fitzgerald, Demarius Randall forgetting to cover him. But anyway, yeah, the Suns just came out completely flat. And it's shocking to me, a team with the coach of the year and Jay Crowder and Chris Paul and and Booker, all this veteran leadership with experience. Just totally phoning it in. All right. And it looked like they'd never been there before and they were making silly, stupid mistakes. They were rattled. They were not moving the ball well. They couldn't shoot. It just was they came out totally flat. Ayton basically quit. It's crazy. And
I was very confused what happened with Ayton because he got benched, right? But was it like because he didn't want to go back in the game? So I'm very confused. Like
that's the rumor is that Monty asked him if he wanted to go back in the game, and Ayton muttered like no. That's at least what people who were saying they could like read his lips, and that's what it sounded like it happened. So we'll see if that's actually true. But what is definitely true is that he said something that pissed Monty off, and he didn't get in for the fourth quarter and only played 17 minutes in the whole game. So I do think Ayton is out of Phoenix. I do. I mean, if they were not willing to give him the max after last season, where he just had a fantastic playoff run, was incredibly efficient, and was on the brink of winning the finals. If they were uncomfortable then, why would they be comfortable now? He didn't show any growth this year. He didn't show that he was a different or better player than he was last year. If they're concerned about the timeline and they don't want to be stuck with a questionable max contract after Chris Paul is gone, like that's not any better now. There's another year off Chris Paul. So it just doesn't make any sense for them to cave now when they already weren't willing to give him the max. So yeah.
You guys were talking about potentially Ayton to like the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's like the most ideal landing spot?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
I do too.
They already have some guys that you trust on offense there, and Dame and Simons, and I think you look at that, and the one thing they've been missing for a long time is a real presence, and on the interior. Nurkic has been good, but defensively not probably where Ayton is. I feel like they're a lot of the times they'd be running in the playoffs with a lot of offense, but then Melo and Nurkic get the 4 and the 5 with Cantor being the backup 5. It's just like defensively that's just not going to work. So I think that would be solid enough so you're like you could see how that is tangibly different from what they've done before. Whereas if you get like Zach LaVine, it's like you've kind of already done that. You kind of already know like another offensive guard next to Dame isn't going to work. You already have Simons, and you should keep him because if the Dame stuff doesn't work out, you can have another guy like that for the future. So I think the Mavs should do anything they can to sign Ayton. Well, I don't think Phoenix is going to let that happen. I'm afraid. I don't think they're going to be trading with them.
That would, I guess it works under the assumption that it'll be a sign and trade situation for Phoenix, right? If he hits free agency, he can go wherever he wants. But yeah, that's what we were talking about on the podcast, where the Mavericks are kind of the ideal fit for him. But at the same time, I think they also kind of saw his flaws, right? Where it's like this should have been a series where Ayton feasted. The Mavericks' interior defense is nothing real special. Bertans is out there. Maxi Kleber is out there. These are not high-profile defensive weapons. And there would be times where there would be space to occupy in the paint, and Ayton just wouldn't take it over. And he just wasn't, if he really wanted to flip the switch and eat against that post defense, I feel like he could have. I just feel like he didn't,
but, and it's not like Ayton was the only guy that was underperforming in that game. Like you had Paul and Booker not playing at a high level. You're not really going to have that.
Right. But that's been a problem.
That's not going to happen with Luka, right? Luka's going to ball.
Well, yeah, but I think that this has been a problem with Ayton before. I mean, since he's come to Phoenix, there's been questions regarding like his work ethic and his
winners work, man.
Times where winners work. But there have been times where it's like, oh, you could be you're kind of hesitant here when you should be proactive. And that's been the issue since he came. And it was really bad until Chris Paul came. All right. There were people who was like, is Ayton a bust, until Chris Paul came and started feeding him in the post. And Ayton credits Chris Paul with kind of lighting a fire under him and kind of unlocking that mindset. And so if you feel like if Chris Paul never came, where would Ayton be now? Would he be in this discussion at all? Because he wasn't on pace for it.
And this is the deal with centers, in my opinion. If I put out, like a center who's supposed to get a max contract and they can't stop you from putting out guys like Kleba and Bertans, like if they can't exploit mismatches and make it tough for you to like match up against them, they're not good. They're
Right.
not like that. That is a big problem. That is the number one thing they need to be able to do.
Right.
So Ayton is a good player, but for a max is going to be very, very tough. Like the talent is there. He could be better, but as it stands right now, I'd be very nervous about giving him the max. And I'm not someone who's nervous about every max contract.
Well, I mean, we're talking about what the Mavs could be doing this offseason. It's like, oh, could they get Ayton? Well, what about the Mavs right now?
I think they could go to the finals, and I apologize for sleeping on them, Mavs fans. I deserve all the shit I got because when the Suns went up 2-0, and the Suns had won 8 straight games against the Mavericks at this point, right? Like the Suns, since drafting Luka, had honestly been pretty good, and it had gotten to the point where a popular cope in Phoenix on Suns Twitter was, well, the Suns actually made the right pick in Ayton because Luka wouldn't fit alongside Paul and Booker. And like Ayton is the perfect piece, and the Suns overall are the better team than the Mavericks, despite missing on Luka, which is just a bad take because Luka is probably better than Luka. You'd probably rather have Luka than Booker and Paul,
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't really matter if he doesn't fit alongside of him because you'd probably rather have him than both of them. But at the time, you maybe wouldn't have said that. But anyway, it is, the Mavs are a team where it's like, it kind of reminds me of like a LeBron situation where like maybe that we got too focused, or at least I got too focused on being like, well, Luka's not going to be enough by himself, and the team around him isn't good enough, and you need a complete team to win win this series and get to the finals. And I still think it's true. You need a more complete team, but like Luka's just completely down. Like it's this kind of same deal like we saw with LeBron in some of these past where he's like balling with J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert and Andre Drummond and getting through some of these teams. It's like Luka is balling
in a normal situation. Yeah, you need a complete team. But if you have the best player in the world, like
right.
I mean, I've come around to the way Luka's the best player in the NBA.
I might agree, man. I might agree.
Like, and if you have a player that can just totally take over a game, like there's a lot, like we were talking about Jokic. It's like, okay, you're okay. Like if Jokic puts up 30, you're okay with it. You're not worried about Jokic putting up 50, right? But Luka's a guy that you're like legitimately concerned that he can just demolish you in every facet.
I disagree. I don't think Luka's the best player in the league.
Really?
I think that it's like, well, he beat the Suns by himself. The Suns were losing to the Mavs when Luka was off the floor.
Right. That's true.
This is not just a Luka thing. It is not just a Luka thing. And I think it's almost comparable to like as far as team wise, it's like maybe we underrated the Mavs. I kind of think it's like the Hawks last year. I feel relatively similar about the rosters around their stars with the Hawks and the Mavericks. There's a lot of good players, but I don't feel like there's a super clear like path to that. Like they need to like, there's some move out there for sure, but I don't know what it is exactly yet. They've got options, but they don't have like a real, like, yeah, that's their franchise second star for sure. Maybe Brunson's closer to that than anybody on the Hawks, but it's not anything that's like definite or perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Luka is at least top 3. I think it's Jokic, Giannis, and Luka. I think it's those 3. And I look at what Luka, like the range that he has and what he can do as like off the dribble and what he can do. It's like he reminds me a lot of like Jokic, these European players with like unlimited range. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. And it's like, I don't know. And the way that he shows up in the playoffs and just like capital D, capital O, capital everything in that word, just dominates every single year has been completely insane. And we're seeing playoff performances like, just ridiculous ones. Some of the best playoff series, like every single year, he's the best player on the court against Kawhi and the Clippers. He was the best player there. They lost, but he was the best player there. Against the Suns, like, he's clearly the best player there. So
you compare it to LeBron, it's like,
yeah, we'll see. He's close. I think it's those three. I really do think it's those three. I'm fine if you rank Luka like below. You could maybe say Embiid. I'd rather have Luka than Embiid. I'd rather have Luka than Embiid. Rather have Luka than Curry. I'd rather have Luka than just about everybody. I really do.
I think Curry you could make a debate for. Embiid's not healthy enough. I love Embiid, but that dude's got to. He just has to stay on the court, man.
Yeah.
Did you pay Ayton more than what Jaren Jackson Jr. got? I don't know. I think that's about the right level of money for Ayton.
I think so.
But 5 years for Ayton is tough. It's a little tough.
Right. Yeah. Who's the most underrated player this playoffs in your guys' opinion?
Brunson's had a really
Brunson's
good game.
not underrated though. I think like maybe Strus on the Heat. I'm a big Strus fan, and like what he unlocked with the Heat. I mean, once he entered the starting lineup for Miami, they just started rattling. Like that was the piece, and they started rattling off a bunch of wins in a row. I like Strus. I think he's a real good starter. We'll see how he holds up in this against this elite backcourt that the Celtics have got. Obviously, like a guy like Grant Williams holding down the fort. Well, Robert Williams hasn't been healthy. He's probably up there. I don't know. Those two come to mind.
Please right now, Luka's better than Steph. I would agree.
Oh, absolutely.
I would agree.
Kawhi was definitely better than Luka in that series. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that.
That does, but so let's say we say Luka's better than Steph. Do we think Luka being better than Steph is enough for the Mavs to beat the Warriors? Because you also had to deal with Clay and Jordan Poole.
Well, Poole's going to be. Poole is going to get hunted. Poole is going to get absolutely hunted in this game, and he's going to be given up on defense like 30 a night. So he's got to be out of his mind on offense to be like a net positive, I think.
Right.
I am a little worried about the Warriors. I've been thinking about this.
I am too.
Because we talked about it earlier. It's like, is like the PTSD lineup, is Steph, Poole, and Clay that good defensively? Because Clay, I mean, he's definitely, not a bad player or anything at the moment, but
he's not.
He is not what he was, and like the lateral quickness is definitely like there's a lot. I don't even know if they need to target Poole a ton, or if like I don't know how many of those guys I super trust to handle Luka, and maybe Clay will fare better against Luka rather than John Morant just because of how Morant attacks.
Right.
But Poole is super streaky still, and I'm interested to see how this goes, because I also wonder if like the matchups are going, like the Warriors don't have exactly like a matchup exploiter when it comes to Maxey or Bertans either. So they're going to have to just,
they're not
pick and roll those guys off the court.
They're not big
and get, get a bunch of switches onto Steph and make him play those guys out of there. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how that goes. I don't want to overreact. And like, I think people are going to pick the Mavs a lot just because they're scared to pick against them again, because they were supposed to lose against the Suns and they wouldn't. So if they're supposed to lose against the Warriors, they're going to win.
I mean, that was my philosophy with picking the Hawks last year. I was like, well, they've came around so far. I might as well keep picking them.
And I just, it's tough with the Warriors because there is both a world where they're very good and they just happen to have they looked rough coming out of the end of the season, right? And then they played a Nuggets team that just couldn't possibly be competitive. And then they played a Grizzlies team that they went to 6 against, and Morant was out for half the series. So it's like, I just don't know if they've been really super tested. And maybe if they end up beating up on the Mavs, we'll look back and say the Mavs really weren't that tough of a Western Conference final opponent. But I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, they're streaky. Yeah, they're not consistent. The Warriors aren't. Their shooting has not been as consistent as it was in the prime Splash Brothers era, despite Jordan Poole's, coming out party. I mean, Curry had his worst 3-point shooting performance. He was under 40% this year for basically the first time in his career, outside of the 2019 season where he played 5 games. But it was the worst Curry shooting performance. In the playoffs, he's down at 36%. But yeah, I mean, he's not quite as scary as he once was. Clay's not quite as scary as he once was. They're not big. We'll see. We'll see. I might still take the Warriors here. I picked them versus the Heat. They were my finals prediction before the playoffs. I think I'm gonna stick with that because why change my mind, you know? So if we've gone this far, but yeah, I definitely am not. It's definitely not a free Warriors ring here, you know. So that's my take.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm I almost want to lean in the direction of like, and I feel like it's gonna be a bad idea, but almost trying to let Luka beat you literally on his own. Like you're like, if you want to win Luka, you have to drop 60. Like we're not letting Brunson drop 25. Someone else.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. Easier said than done. But like, who's an easier cover, right? If you're like, well, we can't stop Luka anyway, so we might as well allocate. You know, if we're going to allocate defense that already isn't all that great, let's allocate it to guys who we know. Okay, at least this guy isn't going to annihilate us.
If you put like Dre on Luka, you're gonna. I wonder if that can take him out of some plays a little bit, and you can get some action going with Brunson on like Poole or whoever, and maybe Dinwiddie gets it going on some of those guys. There's definitely a path to the Mavs winning. A big part of it too is that they've just got to keep grinding. This is the most bought in team in the league right now. They're crazy active on defense.
Yeah. Shout out Jason Kidd. I mean, I was really low on the Mavericks before the season, and most of that was
what was that when we were in LA?
Yeah, when we were in LA, because I didn't like Jason Kidd, right? And he had been out of coaching for a while because he was completely toxic on the Bucks. That's well documented. He was replaced very effectively by Mike Budenholzer, who I don't think anybody considers as the cream of the crop in coaching in the league. And, you know, Kidd just kind of seemed like a Carlisle kind of quit. He didn't get fired, it seemed. He just kind of left, and it kind of seemed like we're going to go get this burnout from Milwaukee, who none of the players liked.
Right.
And then he's coached his ass off in these finals, and everybody's locked in around him. So shout out Jason Kidd for that. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dre on Luka leaves the paint vulnerable with no weak side help. Yeah.
That's 100% my thought. I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't trust Clay. Maybe Wiggins is maybe you hope Wiggins is the guy then. That's probably what they're going to end up doing.
Wiseman will make his grand return to lock the paint down.
I'll make a deal with Luka if
this is
what?
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was going to say if the Mavs win the series, I'll get a Luka jersey.
This is the type of thing that like fans expect though. They'll be like, do you think Wiseman can come back? Do you think Zion's going to come back for this playoff series? Do you think like dude, no. You think Kawhi's going to come back? No, I don't.
That's also why like I picked against the Mavericks in round 1. I thought because I didn't expect Luka to come back. It just seems like, you know, oh, you've got this nagging injury, and the fans are always a little optimistic. It's like, oh, wait until Kawhi comes back. Wait until Anthony Davis and the Lakers are fully healthy. Wait until this happens and this happens. Like the ideal situation's about to happen. Wait until Kyrie, Kyrie is back after missing half the season. Oh, the Nets are scary now. It's like, it never quite works out that way. But for the Mavericks, it did. Luka did come back fine and continue to dominate. So that was
sometimes you got to get a little lucky.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
I was kidding. I did not actually think he would come back. But
taking a look at the other series.
Yes.
Celtics are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
God bless the Bucks. They put up a good fight. I think pretty much exactly what we expected to happen in that series happened, except the Bucks miraculously won Game 5.
Yeah.
And that's what made it seem it was really close. They put up a very good fight, but like there's just not enough going on.
The Celtics had me scared for him. They had me scared for a minute.
Concerned too. Well,
I was like, man, Middleton's out, and
Giannis started hitting Damian Lillard threes at the end of
oh my
games.
God.
which is baller from him. But like, yeah, I think that he is. Yeah, Giannis had a fantastic season. I saw some Giannis slander after losing this game. I feel like that's just people who feel like they have to slander the star of
It's
whoever
just
loses.
Right.
Obviously,
people, yeah.
obviously what lost him that series is that the bad shooting, it catches up with you when you don't have your second best player. And it's just, there's not enough going on in the
They're not a
perimeter.
good shooting team.
Giannis is great, but like
And Drew, I mean, it's the same shit we saw last. And this is what would have happened to him last year if Middleton got out, right? I mean, like I've said, I've brought up this stat a million times. They're the worst 3-point shooting team to win the finals in a while. And Middleton was the best shooter on that team, probably. And you lose that. And then it's Drew Holiday. And they won the finals last year in spite of Drew Holiday's offense, which was not good the entire playoffs. It was like, come on, Drew, you got to hit some of these shots. That's what Heat fan were saying the entire time. So like, and then when Middleton is out and it's like Brook Lopez is your second best offensive player. And Drew's got to play like he's the second best offensive player, but I just don't think he quite has the facilities to be a dominant offensive, like creator in the playoffs. He's just not that type of guy. He's a good defensive guard. He's a great defensive guard. He's amazing at working through screens and being a pest and all that, but like he's just not a shooter and he's not a mid-range god. And it's like he sold them multiple times. He just could never get it cooking. Really, he just could never get it cooking on offense. And he's
a third option. He just is not a second option.
And that's okay.
The defense like really is sick. Like the defense, it really does rule. But
oh yeah, I'm not saying he's a net negative. Like on a team, you're happy to have him. He's the reason why they got to the finals they needed him last year. I mean, his defense on the Suns was incredible, but he's just like, you needed some shooting. You need some shooting against Tatum when he's gonna go. Like I don't know what he went from 3. I know he's 5 for 5 at one point. And it's like, you need to answer that. And they just couldn't do it. They could not do it.
Ball don't stop.
I love that account.
It has ball don't stop. God bless him. Has like basically one take and then it's just applied to every different.
Yes. He's the buzzword king where he's just like, oh, he's got this deep bag and that. Yeah. He just like says that about every player.
Like shot creation is maybe a little like, I think he just overvalues shot creation. I don't disagree with absolutely everything. I do think shot creation from like the perimeter and stuff is like
the most important
kind of is the most important thing, but it doesn't mean it can't be overvalued.
Yeah.
And when you're saying like the Giannis slander was a little
that tweet was so funny. It's like, oh, look at the Bucks the last 5 years, multiple deep playoff runs, a championship. Like I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But like to the Celtics, the Celtics credit, like the like I was a little worried, but like props to them for being able to like rejuvenate themselves when things looked bleak.
Yeah, right? Suns couldn't do it.
Yeah, the Celtics were able to play through close games. I think that matters a lot. You know,
and there's stars like Jaylen Brown started off the series real poor, shot terrible to begin, sold game 1. They got beat by a decent amount. Bounced back game 2. Jason Tatum, had some bad in the middle of that, had some bad games. Bounced back in game 6 and 7. Like they didn't allow those like bad performances to get into their head. And they didn't allow, like, they found answers to what the Bucks were throwing at them and didn't let them get beat twice. The Bucks were dropping a lot on Tatum. I think like the coaching could have been better where they were not really closing out on. It seemed to me that they were not closing out on Tatum the way they probably should have been and dropping a lot, which was questionable. But, shout out Tatum. He was awesome. He was electric in these last 2 games, and it was really fun to watch the Celtics. I thought they were playing
and that's
more entertaining basketball than the Bulls were. I'm glad they're moving on because I like their brand a lot.
And that's what it comes down to at the end. Like a big part, I thought the Celtics, the reason why the series went on longer is because they couldn't get it going on offense. And then once Tatum got it going, it's like, yeah, they're not going to lose this if Tatum gets his stuff going.
Right.
I think I like the Celtics. In the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it'll go to 7 because I think that defensively they can handle a lot of stuff. I think they're a pretty deep team, and I trust their shot creators and their shot makers more than I trust the Heat's.
The Heat or my team to come out of the East weeks before the season started.
You sticking with your gut, Theo?
I'm sticking with it. I'm here. They got the 1 seed. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. People were hating on the Heat the whole time. I've been a Heat believer. Look, Butler has been incredible in the playoffs. Absolutely phenomenal. As good of an offensive threat as anybody on the Celtics, really. I mean, so far, I'm not saying that he's as good as Tatum offensively, but like he's just been locked in. I think that he's going to continue to be locked in, just like he was in the finals in the bubble, and he was putting up some there. I think that we can trust him to do that.
Theo, your mic disconnected. Okay. This is the beauty of this Zoom. Normally, when we record the podcast, we do it on this thing called Riverside. And if Theo's mic disconnects, we have to stop the whole recording and restart it. It's such a pain in the ass. It really is.
It is, but yeah, I'm right back at it.
Who's the best player in this series?
It's Tatum. It's probably Tatum. Yeah, probably Tatum. However, I think Oladipo coming back is going to matter. I think I think that's going to matter. I think
Theo Ash underwater.
Is it really still like that?
No,
you're good now. Just what it sounded like when it was.
Okay. But yeah, no, I think that Oladipo coming back, and I think Bam is going to be a big difference. I think Butler has been incredible in the playoffs. I think they've got the firepower. I really do think they've got the firepower, and I just trust. And here's the thing, the most that I like about the Heat is I just trust them to know what to do when the game gets close. And that's not necessarily untrue for the Celtics, but first-year head coach Tatum has been here plenty of times. He's got plenty of playoff experience at this point, but I don't know. Just something about the Heat, like Lowry, who's won the finals before, and Bam and Jimmy, who've been there before. I just think it's gonna come down to the wire a lot in a lot of these games, and I just really trust the Heat in situations like that, and I trust a clutch Heat team. I think they're probably I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'd be willing to bet that they're one of the better clutch teams in the league with the vets that they have. And not that the Celtics don't have those, but that was my take at the beginning of the season. And maybe if I was making betting odds, I'd make the Celtics the favorites to win the whole thing, because they've got defense and they've got the high level shot creators on the other end, in the way that maybe no one else in the finals quite does. That defense plus those shot creators plus the depth, maybe the Celtics are the best in that way, where it's if I was making odds, I'd put them at the most. But I'm still going to stick with my Heat prediction for the same reason that yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: what do you think would be the most fun finals matchup?
I
Celtics
think
Warriors.
To watch.
Celtics Warriors.
I think Celtics Mavs. I think Celtics Mavs would be.
I would rather see the Mavs in it than the Warriors again.
Yeah.
I really would like to see Luka and Curry. Okay, Clay. Okay, I
been
think
there, done that, right?
I think seeing if Luka could complete a Dirk Nowitzki type of run, a LeBron type of run, one of these an Allen Iverson type of run, kind of the solo superstar. I like that a little bit more than the Warriors coming in, and then probably the Celtics are maybe slightly more entertaining than the Heat, just because of Tatum is awesome and maybe just slightly more fun to watch than anybody on the Heat are. But I think that it's going to be a good finals either way. I think it's cool, but yeah.
I saw someone say that we're getting the most boring conference finals matchups.
Oh
no!
Fuck
and
off.
I was like, are you kidding me?
There's no boring conference finals matchups. One of the teams goes to the finals. So I guess the most boring conference finals matchups would be I don't even know what they would be. I think they're all interesting. Pretty much. No
maybe
what.
if I don't know. Yeah. You can
what you'd have to get Nuggets and I don't what Nuggets Jazz or something, and even
Mavs
then,
Heat rivalry is so entertaining. I don't care, dude. Why? It was completely different players last time. These aren't the same guys.
Yeah.
I
disagree
rejuvenating
with that.
the old rivalry.
Give me Warriors Celtics.
I don't know. I think people LeBron James has like broken people's brains when it comes to like basketball expectations. I feel like the Warriors dynasty and LeBron at the same time just set expectations that just like can't always be met, where it's like, oh, what would be exciting? They want the hugest stars, you know, they want LeBron, they want Curry, they want these like super teams squaring off. And it's just like not the way it goes every time. And it's like, I mean, you look at it these past couple of years, and like Giannis might be the best player in basketball, right? He might be the most dominant player in basketball, right? And you expect him, no matter what the core around him is, to get to the finals every time, because that's what LeBron did when he was the most dominant player in the East, right? And that's like what the best players do, because I feel like he just kind of broke basketball dialogue a little bit. And it's same thing in the NFL with Brady.
I was about to say the NFL is basically the same problem.
Right, because now it's like, oh, Rodgers is a playoff choker because he doesn't have 6 rings like Brady does. He only has one. Where it's like, okay, every quarterback outside of Brady only has like one ring. Like Eli has, you get 2 max, you know? So
yeah.
LeBron, I think, just kind of ruined. No, he didn't ruin it. People ruined it for themselves. But it's like, don't ruin the conference finals for yourselves just because you don't see like, just because it's not Nets Lakers doesn't mean it's boring. Like, you know, it's not all about.
It doesn't have to be too like big market.
Yeah, it's not all about. It's not all about Twitter narrative. Like the game is about more than just Twitter jokes, you know. So,
which team needs the first pick the most? Probably like the Wizards or something. I don't know which team is like in the worst spot rebuilding wise.
I saw someone
Sacramento,
say that, like,
I don't know.
I saw someone like pitch like a Fox trade. That like he could be on the move.
I don't think they're trading Fox. You know what?
If they would have traded Fox, it would have happened already, right? Like, why trade him now if you can trade him at the deadline?
Not what they're doing. With that, I think the trades that always crack me up are like teams like trading up in the draft. I feel like that's never a good idea. Like, it's never a good idea to trade down in the draft.
Let's see. I think that let's see who's the team that could use the first overall pick the most. I might go with the worst team. Who is that? The Rockets? Were they the worst this year?
The Rockets probably. I like the Rockets have Green though.
I was about to say Jalen Green. Like,
I don't care. They don't need more than that. I think like the team that could use the first overall pick the most is simply the team that was the worst last year. So that's probably the Pistons, the Magic, or the Rockets. You know.
Would you rather be the Wizards without the first pick or the Rockets without the first pick?
Yeah, maybe you're right. I think I would probably be the Rockets.
I think it's the Wizards. The Wizards really stink. I don't even know their direction. At least with the Rockets, if they miss, I can see their direction.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It probably is the Wizards, huh?
The Pelicans. Do the Pelicans need it that bad? Like, no.
I think maybe to push. Yeah, they are a playoff team.
Yeah, I was like, they're a playoff team.
I like Paulo more than Chet. If I had the first, based on my NCAA tournament viewing, I like Paulo more than Chet. This is not me going off of scouting. This is not me going off of in-depth analysis. I haven't looked at their stats. Just I thought Paulo looked better than Chet in the
Theo Ash vibe check
in the tournament. So that is I just have a Gonzaga hatred, and I think they're frauds. And who's the best Gonzaga player in the league, man?
I'm holding out for the Hornets to get the 3rd pick because they wouldn't make a decision right there because the number 1 tier is the top 3 players, and that's what they did with LaMelo. They didn't really have a choice at that pick. It worked out well.
Kuzma MVP season incoming. He's good. He's good on the
Matt, do you have hopes for the Hornets being good next year?
Yeah, they're gonna be great.
I mean, yeah.
But like
the Hornets were good this year. Yeah, they were good this year.
Yeah, but like
sort of,
right?
They're here's what's they're not gonna make the aggressive move for a center. The highest thing I could see them doing is Mitchell Robinson. A sign and trade for Mitchell Robinson, and that would be really good. I think they're gonna get D'Antoni. It seems pretty likely now. I think it's gonna be great. People whine and cry about the defense, but you can have good defense with D'Antoni. So I don't buy any of that. I think that they're probably going to just stay put, draft those 2 picks, and I think we're going to just see them take a little bit of a slower route considering they're a small market and their best players 20, And as these guys develop, they're going to become really, really, really good because Mitch Kupchak is a fantastic drafter, and the guys that he's picking have incredibly high ceilings. So I think they're going to be very good in the future. I think they're in one of the best positions of any young team. So I feel good.
Where was D'Antoni this year? Was he
Nowhere.
anywhere? Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, he coached those Rockets teams, and those were probably the best.
D'Antoni isn't even that bad of a defensive coach. Yeah, people overreact to that stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, those Harden, like Chris Paul, D'Antoni teams were like some of the best teams to ever not make a final. So I'm surprised that he was out of the league. Who's the guy? Who's the Bulls coach? I thought he was with the Bulls. No, that's Billy Donovan, isn't it? It's Billy Donovan.
I think so.
Yeah, the other.
Even if you're worried about him being like a bad defensive coach, think about like how offensive oriented is the NBA. I mean, we see games that like have 130 points apiece.
I mean,
right?
Offense is more important than
that's
defense.
Offense is more important in a game where the average score is well over 100, and we're seeing, 50 plus shot attempts a game. Like, you want to score, right? That's the number one. That's the number one thing.
Duran and Charlotte would be cool. I don't think he's going to fall to 13. I think they're going to end up getting Mark Williams, and that'll be all right. But really, I think Kai Jones is going to end up being very good. So I think they'll be okay regardless. I really do. I've been high on Kai Jones forever. I'm not backing down now. He's going to play. But we knew he was going to take time. We knew he wasn't going to come in and just be great as a rookie. He started playing basketball when he's 15 years old. Yes. He's added a bunch of weight. He got way better throughout the season on the G League team. And he fits exactly what the team needs to do. And he would be so good because he could be a legit 5 who could also play in D'Antoni's system, I think. So that's where I'm
we're banking on Kai Jones being him.
Yes. If one of Kai Jones or Book Knight is him, and we also have 2 more first-round draft picks this year. And again, Kupchak does a great job in the draft. The Hornets they're in business.
I'll take your word for it. What about the Cavs, man?
They're also in business. They have the 14th pick.
So do you think that they end up trading Sexton? That seems to be a direction a lot of people are heading.
I don't think he really
they lean Garland as like the first option, and then they trade Sexton.
Depends. I mean, they're not going to get a ton back for him, but I don't know what exactly Sexton's going to do here. There's a lot of guys in free agency. There's not that much money. So I don't really even know what type of contract offers he's going to get, and I think it depends mostly on that. I don't think you'd get that much back for him in the sign and trade. So we'll see. That's one of the more questionable things. I don't know if they trust the Garland Sexton defensive lineup.
Maybe Sexton could be a 6-man or something.
Right.
Fair enough.
He might take like a 1-year prove it deal though. It's tough to say though.
It is. Yeah. Cav's good though. Garland's him. I think he's definitely
Garland's nice.
Garland is probably underrated in the pantheon of like NBA stars, I would say. But
where would you rank him among guards?
I don't know, man. I'd have to make a list. Probably high though.
Is he close to like?
He's probably close to like Chris Paul, I would say. Okay. I think that they're similar in terms of like where you would take them in a fantasy draft next year. I don't know. He's good. He's real good.
Vincent Haw says Sexton doesn't want to come off the bench, and he and Garland can't be on the court together. So
he might have to come out.
It's like, but he makes a point, right? So it's like if he doesn't want to come off the bench and they can't be on the court together, well, your only option is to trade him. Right.
Giddey might be fraudulent because he never showed any self-creation flashes. I would say I like Giddey. I do. I think like playmaking for a guard, he clearly, I think, has it. I think he's also 19. I remember when I was bringing him his shot that he duetted on TikTok, people were like, Theo, he can't drink yet. So I think like I think that's SGA is absolutely him.
Is he under 21?
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yeah, but no, SGA is absolutely him and the most underrated player in the league, I would say. SGA. I've been I think I said SGA is better than Booker one time somewhat recently. Which no one can ever say because I'm a Suns fan, but I legitimately love SGA. I like Giddy a lot too. I think like the both of them are like in a pretty elite guard, like going to develop into a pretty elite guard duo, but who knows?
Fair enough.
Playmaking is only important when defenses are scared of your offense. It's like, yeah, but
that is playmaking.
You need to get
I'm like,
they need to
what
get
playmaking is like.
Yeah, you need to get
no. It's like the high level passing only matters when you can really scare defenses yourself.
Shai is very close to being overrated. I don't think so, man. I really do not think so. I think like Shai is gonna get into the like if he gets on a good team. I mean, everyone would have called like Booker overrated, or not everyone, but like people thought Suns fans overrated Booker until they actually got good, So I think it's the same thing with SGA. But
isn't that playmaking trope kind of the other way around too, where it's like your high level passing can open up stuff for you?
That's also true,
right?
but probably not to the extent the other way around.
I guess I don't know. It's just like I can't see a world in which like being a high level playmaker is a bad thing, right?
Booker, Mitchell, and McCollum are all the same player. Booker is substantially better on defense. I mean, Booker was kind of locked in on defense this year. That's my thing on him. It's like, I don't think Booker is quite the shooter like Paul. I think Paul George is better than him because Booker's not the greatest from three. I think that's his kind of thing where it's like, if he was just could splash and had range consistently from three, I'd be like, he is the best shooting guard in the league, but he just is not someone who is really a 3-point sharpshooter, and he doesn't like rain from three as much as I would like to see. And threes are worth more than twos, So I like threes, but Booker's still super good. He's one of the best defensive shooting guards in the league. He's cash for mid range. He's efficient. I think Booker's gonna get overhated this offseason, but he's still, I'm not like, I was never a Suns fan who was gonna like push the like Booker MVP narrative, but he's good. Yeah,
it's tough out here. Tough out here for Booker fans right now.
It is
having to defend him because I mean, but that's the way it goes. You lose, and then everyone says you're overrated.
It is. And he may have gotten overrated a little bit this year. I can't lie. Like the MVP talk was overrating Devin Booker. Really was.
But they had like the best record in the NBA. So it's like that was gonna happen, right? Pete, when you have the best record in the NBA, everyone says that you're the MVP or that you're this and that. And then when you lose in the playoffs, everyone says you're overrated. Or if you lose in the finals, right? It's like
the Booker over Tatum mentions got to stop. I wouldn't push that narrative even as a Suns fan. I was Tatum over Booker. Like I don't know where Booker landed on my list of top NBA. I took your NBA quiz, obviously. I don't know where Booker ended. He probably was like 14 or 15 for me. But
I have a new iteration of that coming out, by the way. Where
which one?
Both. So basically, for the NBA and the NFL quiz. So basically, what you're going to be able to do is now see like the consensus rankings.
Okay, I thought you meant like you're doing like
it's going to be sick. I'm excited to see that because sometimes people will be like, everyone was saying this, and it's like not really everyone was saying that. So now you'll be able to see like actually 3 months ago, this is what people thought.
Right.
I want to be able to like log those, like post tweets and be like, hey, this is what.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to do like a weekly log of that, and then people I'm sure will go and mess with them and all vote for their favorite player. And that'll be funny too. So
yeah. I've just been having some trouble with like actually displaying the results of it, but I have the database set up and there's like thousands of entries. So
how bad do you guys think tanking will actually get next year for Victor Wembanyama? I mean,
is that 7'2" guy who can splash? Okay. I love that guy. That guy
he's going to be very good, it seems like. I don't know. Probably pretty bad.
He was born in 2004, man.
It's not, dude. It's been freaking me out about the draft. I'm like, this dude is considerably younger than me now.
He's 2004.
So are we getting to the point where we can start calling these guys like kids?
Oh, I'm
And being
calling
like-
these young kids.
I like the.
Yeah, I can't wait to be an old head, man. What do you know about Gilbert Arenas? What do you know
Can't-
about
Can't wait for
2K?
people to start calling me OG and shit. Like,
Yeah, you never saw Kevin Garnett. Not that I watched all that much Kevin Garnett because I didn't have
Right.
cable. I didn't have cable as a kid, so we didn't get many basketball games. But
yeah.
what do you know about Kevin Garnett? Anything is possible. What do you know about that?
Can't wait for us to be like, what do you know about LeBron James?
What do you know about LeBron?
Multiple scouts said he's the best prospect they've ever seen. That's LeBron slander, man.
Yeah,
That's a shot at Bron in my
But
opinion.
they said the same thing
I don't
about
like this
Zion
guy.
too. They said the same thing about
Well,
Zion.
not a lot of scouts have been in the league for 20 years.
I would wonder what those scouts have against Bron, but
Stop. Do they not know that? Stop calling him Bron. Do they not know Bron
Never
is
gonna
still?
be another Bron in the league. Don't forget for MVP.
is his nickname the King, the Chosen One? I don't think so. No,
The
this guy
Chosen
will
One.
be no good. I'm afraid.
He was born in 2004. He's not as good as LeBron.
He was born after LeBron was in the league.
Yes.
That's
that
nuts.
means he's bad.
Yeah.
I fear.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't really scouted him a whole time, but I've seen the highlights and I get it.
I'm gonna ask you guys a non-basketball question.
Okay.
Go for it.
What is your scale of 1 to 10? Give me a score on Kendrick Lamar's album. We talked about it a little bit with Bengal.
Yeah. I don't think it's better than Damn.
I disagree. I think it is.
I think it's really good. I think it's
I think it's really
I
good.
like it.
I
but
like it a lot.
I went and listened to Damn again. Damn is an amazing album.
Damn is fine. I am not the
Yeah,
world's
Damn-
biggest Damn
I
fan,
love Damn. Damn got overplayed with like DNA and Humble.
which are
like-
not good Kendrick songs.
Those are
sadly.
not those are yeah. I was like, those are not even the best songs. First, like Blood is a better song. Blood might be my favorite Kendrick song. Like the more I think about it. But I don't know. I don't know what I would give it on a scale of 1 to 10. It's good. There's like To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City.
You think it's
Damn.
better than Don? What do you think is better,
Oh, well,
Donda?
Oh no, Kendrick's album I think is better
Kendrick
than
by
Donda.
a lot.
Yes, I would say Kendrick's
By,
album
like,
is better
of,
than
like,
Donda.
I think looking back on it, I do not go back and listen to that much Donda at all.
No, no, do
I listened.
I don't listen to.
I listened
There was
to
just
Off
a
the
lot
Grid.
on Donda too.
I
It was
listened
like
to
a
Off the Grid.
5-hour album with 400 songs.
I listened to
Um,
Off the Grid from Donda. I listened to, what is it? Praise Lord or something. I can't remember what.
I think there's Jesus Lord on Donda, which I think is the only
Or
song
Praise
on
God.
Donda. I think Jesus Lord is the
I don't
only
know.
song on Donda that would like touch any song on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I really think that. It's aged
I
well
would
for me.
say Praise God and Off the Grid are the two that I listen to.
I would say the more I listen to Kendrick's new album, the more I like it.
I would agree.
I think it's really. I would say like it's maybe like an 8.5. I feel like a half is cheating. but
Yeah,
a 9 is probably. But we'll see. Maybe I'll feel different in a week. But I really like
that is true. The only song I've really enjoyed right now is N95. But that seems to be everyone's favorite song from it.
That's the banger from that song. That's like the
Yeah.
banger. I haven't been able to get like the content of that album out of my like I think it's just an album that I haven't heard as far as subject matter goes like ever
Right.
before. It definitely feels like a therapy. Like it feels like it's just very messy and just not at all what I expected. And you know, I think it's just kind of a lot to chew on from Kendrick, and it's very introspective and just again like he's been such like a voice of the people and a voice of Compton and a voice, and to come out this album after a 5-year hiatus with everything that's happened with the pandemic and the George Floyd riots, and there's a lot to talk about, and having the album just kind of be like, you know, I can't be that, you know, I can't always be that, and it's been really tough weighing on me, and I hope he's all right. I hope he's doing okay. That was my takeaway. It was like, I hope Kendrick is doing okay. But I don't know. I just like I thought about it a lot after listening to it. Like in the days prior, I would just like, I couldn't quite get it out of my head, which is definitely not something
And
I could say about Donda at all.
Yeah, I really liked the content of it too. Mirror is my favorite song off of it.
Yeah, Mirror's really
and
good.
that was sort of like really talking about that type of stuff exactly.
Father Time is Mirror is on it. Savior is I think my favorite from it, and again like that is also talking about like I'm not your savior. I can't be your savior. I thought Father Time was really good. Auntie Diaries has grown on me. It really has. I know that it has been the subject of probably the most dialogue. I've talked to my good friend who's trans about it, and he said that it was awesome and loved it. So
I talked to a friend of mine that I go to school with, and he's bisexual, and he thought it was a great way to
so it's definitely like a that one. I think like sonically, like the outro of Auntie Diaries is ridiculously good and probably my favorite musical moment on that. Definitely like there's a lot to unpack with that one, but overall I've warmed up to it a little bit after talking to some people. But
we got to get we got to get Fantano on the podcast, man.
We do have to get Fantano on the podcast.
Get him to review my album.
Where do I feel Kendrick's album fits in his discography? I would probably put it third. Yeah, I probably would put it third.
I agree.
Here's my thing, right? So I got like To Pimp a Butterfly number 1, right? I would then say Untitled Unmastered is my second.
Wow.
favorite. I love that album.
That is not that bad of a take.
I
that
love
album
that
does
album.
rock actually.
That album
actually,
is amazing.
It's probably
amazing.
its problem is that it's maybe not as like obviously it's not as complete as like the other ones. So maybe that's 4 for me, but it is really good.
I love it.
It is really good.
And then I would say Good Kid, Mad City. Then Damn.
I listened to Good Kid, Mad City recently, and I was like, I might, as far as personal enjoyment go, put this at number 1. I mean, Backseat Freestyle is ridiculous. Money Trees is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Good Kid, Mad City is ridiculous.
Money Trees has been played to death, and it's still good.
Yeah. Compton is underrated.
Yes.
Like
I like
Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst.
That's my favorite Kendrick song.
It's a masterpiece. Like, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So I was listening to that one. I'm like, as far as personal enjoy, I think his best album, like objectively, is the one that won him the Pulitzer.
I think, I think to you, like if the one you enjoy listening to the most is Good Kid, Mad City, then
that's your favorite.
That's
album.
the best one,
right? Like,
yes, I don't know. I don't know though. Both of those I would consider to be like really high 9s or 10s. To Pimp a Butterfly is like right there as well. It's one of those two. I think it is like that's I think what everybody would say is it's either Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is his masterpiece. I really do, like as far as the lyrical content goes, and like I truly think that is his best album. As far as like I don't know, they're all good though. He doesn't miss, sadly.
Yeah, I mean you think about. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all Kendrick, man. There's nothing wrong with it.
If Kendrick had died young, he'd be the GOAT. He might be the GOAT anyway, but like, yeah, I think like if Kendrick were to get like
I think he's the best to me.
I think he's the best to me. I feel like who else is up there? It's like
Tupac. I think all-time rappers, I would say like I would put Jay-Z up there.
Kendrick's better than Jay-Z, sadly.
I don't know, man. Blueprint is amazing. 444 is amazing.
444 is amazing.
Very good.
It's amazing.
I love
very
444. The Black Album. The Black Album's phenomenal. I like Biggie a lot. But that's mostly Biggie's more like a flow and a vibe thing.
Kendrick is better because Kendrick I think has better lyrics than damn near everyone. He's got, I would say, like, I love the production on Kanye's song, and he knows how to like make a banger. But I think like Kendrick is running circles around Kanye, like as a pure rapper.
But as an artist, like I gotta give it to Kanye, man. I do.
He has a lot of really good albums. He's got a lot of really good albums.
Well, and Kanye has also like established so much in music, like in terms of like he like artists that he's discovered and like I can't even think of the word.
That
Just like
when
innovation.
talking about like who my favorite musician is does not matter to me. I'm going to be 100%.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm not talking about like favorite musician, but I'm just saying in terms of like just greatness and what he's done for music. I think that matters. But like as
my favorite is my GOAT.
That's Kendrick.
Yeah, I think like but
my
that's
favorite.
how
My
I think
favorite.
it works for
My
me. Like,
favorite is
whoever's my
also
favorite is gonna
Kanye.
be.
Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
favorite's also.
I
Did I tell you guys my favorite singer of all time?
Elton John,
No, my favorite singer of all time is Billie Eilish.
which is just an atrocious take that she doesn't even sing on her albums, really. She doesn't sing on her albums. She
Fuck
like
you, man.
she doesn't. She doesn't
Fuck
showcase
you.
she doesn't showcase like major vocal range on her albums or
listen
like
to fucking what is it? The new it's like the self-titled song on her recent album.
it's no time
Happier
to
than
die.
ever. No,
It's happier than
ever.
ever. That's
Happier
like
than ever. That
it's a
song's
good song.
amazing.
It's a good song. It doesn't
Song's
make her the
amazing.
best singer ever.
She's my favorite singer ever.
All right. Well, you just think she's hot. You're just down bad.
Bro,
sadly.
I liked her
She's
music.
not going to let you hit. She's not going to see this live stream, man. She's not going to let it. She's not going to see it. She's not.
Bro. I liked her music before I thought she was hot. So,
What is your favorite song? What's the name of the album with her under the ladder?
oh fuck. That's no,
You're looking it up.
No,
He's looking it up.
I know this. I know this. It's fuck, bro.
What's
no, I give me a second. I know this.
She only has 3 albums.
It's fuck. It's like it's something with like smile in it. It's
What's the next one called? What's the next one called of her on the bed looking scary with the
oh,
spotlight on her?
it's like when we fall asleep or something.
All right, I'll give you that. Anyway,
don't smile at me.
With the
don't
Kanye,
there you go.
I'm not ranking Kanye over Kendrick all time because some guys came up on his songs. At the end of the day, I kind of just care about like which music I like the best. I get it; it's cool. Like it's definitely like a cool thing for Kanye to do. But
I don't know. I think
these comments.
Kanye also is annoying to me. Kanye is an annoying person. I feel like he gets. I don't like diehard the Kanye stans. I think that they worship the ground he walks on way too much. And
I do worship the ground Kanye walks on.
and I feel like he has done some things like very much worth criticizing, and some people just won't let anyone hear it. And he's like harassing his family on Instagram, and everyone's like, "Go Kanye!"
This take is
like-
so bad that the cops are after you, Theo. Like
What? That Kanye's can be annoying. Look, I just like Kendrick more than him. Like, sadly, but yeah. Anyway.
I don't know.
That's my thought.
My album's gonna clear everyone, I fear, and it is gonna drop.
It is gonna drop.
It is gonna.
Do you have is it dropping in June?
Probably it depends. So my producer said he would get me the finished tracks by June 1st, and if he gets it to me like on June 1st, because he started a new job, so he has to get settled in there. It's in Minnesota, by the way.
Oh, hey, what town do you know?
I don't. But I know he's. But I think he's like on a lake. So I can't.
There's famously there's 10,000 of those.
Okay. But so if it gets to be on June 1st or like close to that date, then I'll do July 15th. But if I get it like within the next week, I'll do like the second or third week of June.
Okay.
So if you don't hear anything about a release date for like within the next week, July 15th. So
I'm trying to think of who my favorite singer of all time, like the voice that I like the most. I assume that's what you're
yes.
The
Just
voice you like the most.
It's not even about her like vocal range. It's about the tonality.
She does have a very unique like way of singing. I think that she does have a very unique way of singing. I don't dislike Billie Eilish. I just would not put her as my all-time favorite. But I guess I don't know who my all-time favorite would be. But yeah.
Someone said Adele. Adele's up. I love Adele.
Adele, I would say I enjoy some problems with I like I enjoy
Bruno.
imperfect singing a little bit, which is weird, but like
No, I agree. That's
My
why I
f-
like the blues so much.
like when there's some harshness to it or some rasp to it or like something unique. Like Adele and Freddie Mercury are like obviously goated, but they're not my favorite just because they're like too damn good.
What?
They're just too good.
That
It's
doesn't
not.
make sense, bro.
No, it does. It's like I think there's beauty in the imperfection sometimes, and Adele is like always perfect. And it's just like, I know this. I don't know. But
What are
who
your thoughts
knows?
on what about Bruno?
Bruno's a pop
He's still a
singer.
fantastic like leave the door open. You want to talk about range?
He's a good singer. I'll admit that. I'm not the world's biggest Bruno Mars fan. I don't know. I'm just not a big like pop artist fan. I don't listen to Bruno Mars. I don't listen to Billie Eilish. I don't know. I just don't think that they're like that interesting in terms of like what they're singing about, or I just don't. So
Yes, I don't
yeah.
know, man. I'll listen to pretty much anything except for like pop country. Fuck that shit.
Pop country. Yeah, pop country is bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
If
I don't
you
know.
if you hate pop country, listen to Daniel Donato. He has this brand of country called Cosmic Country. I think it sounds really nice.
We'll see. Country rock. Here's the thing. I will defend some country music. Like I listen to like folk rocks to me. I love folk
Folk
singers.
is good.
And that's like
Bluegrass
sort of
is
country. Bluegrass is good. So I listen to like some stuff that I would probably consider to be like country music, but it's not like Blake Shelton or anything.
People make fun of me because I say I don't like country, but I love Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I'm like, that song is closer to metal than to country, I think. In terms of like in terms of like the technicality of like
metal and country are not you're not speaking my language.
I'm just saying, if anyone who like really like knows music, tell me that song isn't closer to being a metal song than
Sampha is my favorite singer. Yeah, I agree.
Who?
Sampha. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I love.
Do I even know who that is?
He was on Kendrick's album.
Was he?
Yeah.
Father Time. He's really good. The Process is a really good album. You should give it a listen.
I have not listened to any of his stuff really.
If you need obscure great obscure music, Matt's got you. Like Matt.
Really?
Matt has.
I don't think my music is that obscure.
I don't think it's that obscure.
Sampha's not obscure
like,
though. He's been on like he's super popular. Honestly,
it's not that it's obscure, but it's like not quite mainstream, right? I don't know.
Matt is me and Matt. I think me and Matt are on the same. I wouldn't consider my music taste obscure, but it's like not. It's like the mainstream underground. It's like mainstream underground artists.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like, Matt, you did like Bug Collector. You were talking about how you're listening to a lot of that. It's like, me, I've heard of Bug Collector. Like my friends, they've heard of Bug Collector. But again, like it's not going to play on the radio. So it's like mainstream indie or mainstream underground. And it's what I listen to too. Like, I'm not going to like, I've got an MF Doom poster behind me, right? Like
I have a playlist of like obscure music that I like to listen to.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've got the Radiohead poster behind me. No one's ever heard of them.
No one's ever. That's like the king of the like mainstream underground.
Right.
Radiohead. I like Muse. I like Muse more than Radiohead.
Bad too.
I know, Theo, you're choking at that, but I like Muse more than Radiohead.
Bad take.
It is a bad take.
It's a great take. Muse is phenomenal. Matt Bellamy, amazing singer and amazing guitar player. But I think we should wrap things up. I have to go take my sister to track practice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much wraps things up for us. As always, tons of content coming away on all platforms. We're looking. So, there's a chance we have a guest on Friday's episode. No guarantee about that, though. We're going to be talking NBA playoffs, of course. But yeah, pretty much wraps. Do make sure that you leave us questions, right? DM us on Instagram, DM us on Twitter, send us an email at stayhot. What is it? Stay Hot Pod. Is it like Stay Hot?
We're doing like a mailbag thing.
It's basically it's just a mailbag kind of. We're just gonna answer some of your questions. They don't have to be football or basketball related. Shit, you can you can ask me a baseball question. Can't guarantee you I'll know what to say, but you can sure ask. Or you can ask when the album's coming out, and I just answered that here, so I will say the same thing again. But until next time, tons of content coming away on all platforms, as always, from Corn Boy, Bird Boy, and Lemon Boy. We will catch you all on the flippity flop.